All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit in this video about some of the things that are in your textbook about priority management and just kind of add my own twist to them. So your textbook talks a lot about the concept of putting the first thing first. And this is something that lots of time management, self-management, prioritization strategies will teach you, is that when you're feeling like you've got 40,000 things to do and you don't know where to go first, the first step is to make your list, make a huge master list, brain dump, and after you do that, go through and prioritize what needs to happen first. And as you prioritize things, you can put a rank next to each item, like this is very important and has to happen. Then you can go through and order them. So when you're in school and you're managing a home life and a college life and extracurricular activities and whatever else is on your plate, one question that always helps to get me through is very simple. What is my very next step? Let that sink in for a minute. What is your very next step? What is going to be due when you walk into class tomorrow? And then do you have it done? And if not, you know the answer to the question. That's your very next step, is to get that done. What is your very next step? If you have a paper coming up and you know that one of your steps is to have a draft ready a week before it's due, then it's time to figure out, when am I going to sit down and do this draft? What is my very next step? If you're like me and you're managing kids and school and all that stuff, then sometimes my very next step is I have to make the kids lunches. I can't send them out the door without a lunchbox because their school doesn't give lunch to them. So those kinds of things, you have to figure out where that balance is in your life with what has to happen next. And sometimes we have multiple responsibilities, and they're all super important. One of the things in your textbook is that the author promotes the idea that school is your most important thing. And school is your most important thing if you fit into a specific kind of student population. If you don't have children, if you don't have a job, if you don't have to pay your own bills, or someone is helping you do that, then you know what? It's easy to say school is your own thing. We are at a community college. At a community college, we have students who come from all over the place, and it's one of the coolest things about working here. But the reality is that not everyone has that kind of school's the most important thing. I mean, school's not the most important thing. The 5-year-old and the 3-year-old that I put to bed every night is the most important thing. And I know that some of you watching this video have that same experience, where it's like, you know what, I'm doing this to set an example for them. I'm doing this to follow through with getting a degree, and it's so important. But it's also important to just make sure that they've got what they need, that they get my attention, that they get my playtime, that I read to them at night, that I take them to the park on the weekends and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that go into play here. And one of the biggest lessons that's hard to learn, and a lot of people will say this is hard for women, and it's totally true, but I think it's hard for most of us. Sometimes we have a really hard time asking for help. So as you're starting to look at what your priorities are and organizing things in your mind with what's my very next step, what do I need to get done first, what is my non-negotiable? Another thing to consider is, what kind of help can I get? If I'm wasting time trying to figure out how to solve a math problem and I'm not getting anywhere on my own, where can I go to get help so that I stop spinning my wheels like a crazy person and getting frustrated? When you get frustrated, ask for help. It's funny, I'm bringing up my kids a lot in this video, but this is one that we talk about at home all the time. If you can't get the cap to the marker back on, ask someone for help. Like, don't start to scream about it. Ask for help. Hopefully you're not screaming, but you know what I mean. It's just focus, ask for the help you need. There are resources available. Hopefully you had a chance to look over the resources link that was in your week 1 folder for this class. And if you didn't, that folder, or if you didn't, then I can make that link available to you. But TCC has the Learning Commons, and of course there's help from your instructors and all kinds of stuff on campus that you can access. Anyway, so priority management is about the things that are in the textbook for sure. What's most important? What are the non-negotiables? And what are the things that could be tabled for now? And then my add on to that is, what is my very next step? What's the most important thing right now? And consider, what are the other pieces of your life that you need to have in place to be a sane and happy person? Do you need to make sure that you exercise every day for at least 30 minutes? And if that's something that you know works to keep you sane and happy, then do it. Just figure out the time and do it. It's a priority. I know some of it's easier said than done, and some of this stuff takes a long time to figure out, for sure. But I absolutely know that you can do it. And sometimes just having the conversation helps. So if you do need to talk about your priorities and kind of help to organize your thoughts, talking out loud can help even when nobody's listening, and talking to a friend can also help too. All right, I'm going to record one more video for you guys on the concept of space and maybe a little bit on stress. So you'll have 3 videos to watch this week. Okay, see you in the next one.